Hey everybody, Jason Blaha with Ice Cream Fitness here. I was looking through my emails earlier this morning and I got an email from one of my subscribers, and he mentioned that he had been lifting weights for just over a year and that most of his physique was coming along nicely. Chest, back, thighs, arms were all developing really well, but he said his shoulders in general were just lagging behind, both his delts and his trapezius. So I'm going to go ahead and cover for you guys the best lifts to bring up lagging shoulders and to give you full shoulder development. But hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot first. Alright, first of all, when it comes to weak point training, I want to just address the fact that if you're a novice, if you've only been lifting weights a few months, you don't have weak points. Your entire body is a weak point. You need to stick with just basic heavy work and build your foundation up. And after about a year of consistent hard training, that's when you'll start to notice true weak points coming out, muscles that are growing slower than others if you're doing everything correctly. And so you're going to want to specialize a bit. For general shoulder development, I think things just like standard overhead presses with a barbell, standing press, military press, push presses, these are the things that are going to give you your foundational shoulder development, and a lot of guys can develop really good shoulders off of this. However, not everyone can, and as you get more advanced, you're going to need more specialized work to continue to develop your shoulders. All right, there's 4 basic muscle heads that we are worried about for shoulder development. We're worried about the anterior deltoid, the medial deltoid, the posterior deltoid, and the upper trapezius. These are the muscles that make up your shoulder. Now, I will state up front, both in my personal experience and from looking at EMG research that has been done on it, the most effective mass builder for your shoulders for recruiting overall fibers throughout the entire shoulder girdle is the seated behind the neck barbell press. And I'm not talking about where you come down to your ears and go up. I mean where you come down and touch the neck or the upper traps. Now you're going to have to experiment with this lift a little bit to do it safely, to find a bar path and a grip width that doesn't aggravate your shoulders. But what you will find is that actually this lift will improve shoulder flexibility over time and shoulder mobility. So in a lot of ways it has fringe benefits outside of the hypertrophy. And all the data on it shows that it is the best anterior deltoid and medial deltoid lift, hands down. It beats military press, it beats dumbbell presses. It is the #1, and I'm not a fan of dumbbell presses. I don't have time to cover why. I'm just not a fan of them in general. I don't like them. But the behind the neck press also hits the upper trap very, very well, more effectively than most lifts. The #2 lift I would look at is going to be any sort of one-arm side lateral raise, whether it's a dumbbell or with a cable. These are, as far as I'm aware, the only lifts that actually outshine or compete with the behind the neck press for the medial delt. And they have the added benefit of, once we started doing EMG research, that they hit the upper traps quite hard also. The other delt lift that I would look at is face pulls, and particularly face pulls done with bands. Face pulls done with bands have hands down beat all other lifts for posterior delt recruitment. So if you're really looking to develop your rear delts, face pulls done with a band are your #1 lift. And they carry huge benefits in other areas, because the same research showed that they were one of the better lifts also for the medial head of the delt also. Even though they're not considered a movement for that, they're actually very good at it. They do hit the trapezius effectively, and they're considered a rehabilitative exercise for people who've had shoulder injuries. They work the rotator cuffs, so they help strengthen those smaller muscles inside the shoulder that are very likely to get injured when doing heavy bench pressing. So they actually help prevent you from getting injured. So they're a must-have in your routine. And then finally, as far as actual trapezius development, upper trapezius development, even though all 3 of those lifts are good at building the traps, the hands down king of trap building is going to be heavy barbell strokes. So if your shoulders are lagging and you really need to specialize a bit, those are going to be your 4 go-to lifts: seated behind the neck barbell press, one-arm side lateral raises, face pulls with bands, and heavy barbell strokes. All right, I hope this has been informative, and that's all I have to say on that today. I'll talk to you guys next time.